And again same problem, I think it's coming, no zero, the video is 0 and audio is 0. I don't know where it's going on. Take same thing, we'll do again same, I can't say. But I'm just continuing with this talk, overall talk on quality and safety. Quality, safety, and safety is included in this because of COVID-19 links to life. COVID-19 links to life. And of course, competency of everybody is required here. Competency of whether it's quality or not, that is very very important point here. Well, I'm not getting signal, so it's getting 0 0. But I continue. I don't know whether it's going to be recorded or not. I can't say. I can't say that. It's a difficult time with no quality with the signals. Quality has a role in life, as a total role in life. Quality means what we are, how do we conduct. Is per requirement or otherwise. That is what quality states. And actually, quality can be called a reference for acceptance. A reference for acceptance, it is a specification or description of quality requirement. So quality has many definitions in that case, explanatory definition or you can say nominal definition. Quality is directly dependent on material, equipment, human resources, and when human resources and equipment are involved, certainly safety of personnel, safety of employees, safety of employer, safety of everyone is involved. And when safety is involved means safety of what? Safety of health. Whatever health is being used for that act must be preserved, must be allowed to keep safe. And when you are safe means your health is not impacted upon adversely. When say adversely means whatever it was, whatever good or normal it was or it is at time of work should be at least same, if not better. One who works should be safe from every bad action or you can say ignorant action. Why safety and health are related? Because of so many, you can say, facts that we ignore. Sometimes we ignore everything. We are only interested in targets, we are interested in, we say, schedules. Schedules are very important indeed. Schedules, whatever we draw, we design, it states something, but it never states that you forget safety because you are a professional, because you are a competent person. You have no right to say that I can't manage safety. Safety is not something specific, or you can say it's something new. Everybody knows safety. Safety exists everywhere if you can see that. And if you can't see that, it doesn't exist. That is what I say. We should take safety, health and environment, of course, in beginning of everything. We have to consider that our basis. But when you work, safety, when you are safe, when you are healthy, definitely you will work. You are not getting sick, and what work you do, that work must be done within all corners, all control ends, all control angles of required quality. Actually, how do you control something? It is not control of tasks, it is control of consideration. Your procedures, your controls, your application, that is called engineering, all must be within certain prescribed norm, prescribed format. It should not deviate from that. If deviates, it should be within permissible tolerance. If you put together quality and SHG, I put together quality requirement and safety and environment requirement, though environment is not in our control, all right, but working environment, we can say that is required for everything. I'm not saying natural environment, working environment that we create, that must support safety and health. And if we have safety and health as qualitative provisions in our activities, in our minute to minute, hour to hour and whole day working, it is for sure that you shall work according to quality requirement. If you have little conscious, if you are little conscious, you shall do that, because when health is good, your mind is good, and when your mind is good, you shall for sure think and consider safety as point number one. Safety and health. Health is not one day job. Your health is your property, it's your wealth. How do you maintain it? That is different. And when you are healthy, you feel pleased, you feel brilliant, you feel I'm happy, and you can, when your mind is happy, you say yes, I'm okay. Safety remains with you because you can think. And when everybody feels safe when you work, all people feel safe. Of course you are there to work, your intention is to work. Safety feeling, good health feeling, create these two criteria, safety and health. And intention to work, that's also a part of environment, because you don't want to feel bored, you don't want to kill time. Intention to work, you can say, that creates a combination of real health, thinking of safety, thinking of health, thinking of environment, and of course intensity of hunger to work. Yes, I have to work today, this is my target, and I am happy to work. I'm not sick. If you are not sick, certainly you can work, and because you have energy, you have determination to work, you have complete information about work, you shall work. And when every point is in position of positive direction, positive driving force, That is good safety, good health, good environment, and good work of your interest, where you feel, okay, I am going to work, this is my business, this is my activity, this is my tech professional activity, and I get in exchange of this some my daily wages or daily requirements I meet. So you can say these two subjects, these two disciplines or subdisciplines, you can say, that is quality and safety, put on your mind a kind of working happiness. Working happiness. Because working happiness is achieved, it's not bought. Your social happiness is different, other happinesses are different. But when say work happiness, that is your achievement, because without work you can't be happy, you can't achieve anything. You cannot take or steal somebody else's happiness. Happiness comes on your own. This is only character, this is only habit that you have to create, you have to do, and you may give happiness by your work to others, but you will not steal their happiness. Therefore, happiness means safety, health, and environment with requirement of doing. You can think in different ways every time, whatever you explain. I don't want to explain in a way theoretical, because theory is something theoretical, or you can say basics is something very different. I just try to explain what I think, because just going by books doesn't mean anything as far as work life is concerned. Because somebody thought and wrote book, maybe that person had experience or that person didn't have experience. How can I say? And we can't say, oh, how many pages this book has and this must be. That is something different. That is syllabus or domain of your work. But when I say, if you think yourself, you see, thinking is very important. Again, I say, thinking cannot replace anything. When we say thinking, again, I think it's long. Yes. Thinking is such an act that doesn't cost anything except you are healthy, means you are not starving, you have food, water, and your health is safe, good. You can utilize your energy from many sources for thinking. And thinking is super part of work. Work is work. But you may say, thinking is father of mother of work, is parent of work. And thinking cannot be stopped. Even if you want to stop, you have no right to stop your thinking, because even if you think and want to stop it, at max you can sleep. That's it. Thinking is automatic in your mind. You can suppress it, you can combat it, but you can't stop it. If your mind is brilliant, it's active. In fact, you can say, if your mind is safe, if your mind is healthy, it has good thinking power. It can think of good environment. Means you may accept or you may not accept. Thinking removes stress. While people would say, no, what he is talking about? How can thinking remove stress? It brings in stress to my mind. But I don't accept this, because I consider thinking is key to lock. It can lock, it can unlock. Thinking is a medicine. Thinking is a vaccination. Thinking always augments energy available in mind. Thinking can never be a burden. It can never become a liability. Thinking is that root of happiness which you cannot get from somewhere else. You cannot get from anywhere, you can say. You may be billionaire, but being a billionaire doesn't claim that you can be happy, because money cannot buy happiness. Money can buy material. Money can buy something else. Money cannot buy, life. It cannot buy, you can say, something morally, something spiritually. Yes, material wise, money can buy whatever you want to buy, not otherwise. Money is very much important, but otherwise it's also important. Thinking is that property which exists with everywhere, which is available with every creature. Human is creature that has capacity to limit off without any extent. Integration of thinking got unlimited, lower and higher limits. These are such value limits which cannot be defined. We can say integrate from this limit to that limit your thinking. Can you understand my point? I am not saying integrate sine theta or cos theta. Integrate thinking. It's very big question mark. Can you integrate? This is mathematical, of course. Thinking gives you capacity to think more. It's like you have money, you get interest on that, or you invest your money, you get more money. And thinking is same. One should understand about thinking, what to think, how to think. Because thinking itself can procure to you other items to think. But very start is thinking. It's really very difficult to define thinking in two terms. You may define it in relative terms, not exactly in original terms. You can define thinking. There are people who are very big thinkers. Thinkers means they think may write, they think may apply. But it doesn't stop itself as well as it doesn't stop your approach. A thinker moves in air, not physical air, mental air. A thinker moves in mental world. Mental world. Whole universe can be covered in thinking. Because thinking is a wave. It's not physique. It's wave of different frequency. It's a wave of different wavelength. It can penetrate where nothing else can penetrate. Thinking is that. You can develop thinking to a level that you can reach your God. You can. And that stage is called concentration. Successful concentration. I'm not saying just concentration, successful concentration, where you can get answers to your questions. And that quality of thinking is really astonishing. If you have, then you are natural born thinker. Thinking can never be a liability. It is solution to every problem. It is an act through which you can do analysis. It's an act through which you can do designs. It's an act through which you can do whatever you want. You want to write, you want to speak, you want to teach, you want to be author, you want to be a leader. I'm saying leader, not politician. Remember, don't confuse. When I say leader, it's different. When I say politician, I don't want to speak that. Because politician is never a leader. Politician is a politician. But I am talking of leaders who do something. Professional leaders or leaders in whatever else field except governance. I am not considering governance here. I am considering work. Because governance is something misleading. It is not misleading actually, but people have made it misleading. Governance means lying. Governance means cheating. Governance means doing nothing and saying I have done this. Governance means just claiming credit for nothing. And if you are successful somewhere by hook or by crook, you say it's my achievement. And when something wrong happens, no, it's not my achievement. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk exactly and accurately about professional world, occupational world, vocational world, social world. If you want to be a quality person, you have to start with it. Forget work, forget everything. First, teach yourself, train yourself about thinking. When you are a child, I was a child, I used to think a lot without thinking even what I was thinking. Because no aim, aim is there, but that is also different. It's not exactly what you want it to be. Whatever think is, oh, it's very good act, this person is very smart, but you don't know what that person is. That way you can say, you can start selecting your future, or my role shall be this in future. So when I say about thinking, it is something that is very expensive in fact of your personal life. If your personal work is very important. And when we say about contemplation, contemplation is an accumulation of result of thinking. Thinking can never go waste. Remember, thinking is such a product, is such a device. You may say imaginary device. It's such sequence or activity that is within your control and also without your control. Even if you want to not to think, you have to think. Thinking would work. That is different if you drink and sleep or you take some drug. Oh, okay, I don't want to use my mind. But don't forget, even then it remains in your mind. God is very smart, excellently smart. God's system is very much automatic, much more automatic than human being computers. God knows what its device, that is yourself and myself. We are live devices, God generated. Those devices must work. If your device doesn't work, its designer shall be very unhappy. I did everything for this equipment, for this toy or for this robot who is human, and this is not working. Where did I make a mistake? Of course, God says never make a mistake. Of course, God never makes mistake, but sometimes, mistake itself interferes in the work of God. So we say, when you have contemplation on something that is based on thinking, you can form a format. When you go somewhere, fill some form, it's nothing but format. You have to fill all entries, and those entries must be correct or linked to your life. And if this is not, then you have to leave blank, which doesn't mean anything. You have not done anything, or you say blank I am. Well, engineering, we say, is a part of life. Engineering is part of everybody's life. If you want to run away from this, you can't run away even. Because you are directly or indirectly use engineering products all day, throughout hours. Whatever you are, wherever you are, whatever working in a particular time, it has direct relation to engineering product. You can't say otherwise. Whatever branch of engineering is there, some of its contents, its achievements, its objectives already you have. So contemplation, templation, thinking, application of something all come in preview and pursuit of engineering. So engineering is something, you can say, a powerful domain having unlimited domains. Engineering doesn't mean, when I say engineering, it doesn't mean syllabus of engineering. It includes every life part, our part. Engineering can be used as verb. Say, okay, engineer it, we say. I'm not going to use that as a title. Say, this person is a technician, we say. This person is doing this, we say. It means everybody is involved in some kind of technique and it's working. Techniques in action. That combination of technique and action, we say, do it. Because I thought it, do it. When we say thought successfully, or even for purpose of trial, we can say do it. That becomes a part of engineering. It is engineering because you did think something and you want to experiment that. That's also engineering, because you are doing some research work. You may go to do some practical work as a part of research or part of project. So engineering is something which is your time ruler. It's your time ruler. You can't go without that. And when I say that, it says engineering means quality application. Quality application and continuous improvement of quality, that may be written CIQ, but I would say continuous improvement of quality and safety, because safety is also not permanent. It can be revised, it can be given different mode, it can be given different plans depending on different activity. Activities have no limits in number. In every discipline there are thousands of activities probably we can have, and those must be given clear understanding. No way exists not to comply with defined or specified quality levels, because definition of quality is a must, and that definition requires to be achieved, or else work leads to status of being unsuccessful and to be reperformed. It means quality application cannot exist if it's not defined or if it's open. And open definition, does not have any entry gate or exit gate. If you have that definition, I don't believe it. If somebody says, I have done everything, there's nothing left, I did everything that's required in quality, I would say that person doesn't understand quality, doesn't understand safety. Because just talking without knowing, I can say this is rogue. If you talk, if you think and talk, that's different. But if you just talk, it doesn't mean anything. Why are you talking? Say, oh no, it's required, so I'm talking. Okay, talk. But shall it give you something that is required? That's number one point here. So, to be very frank, if quality exists, there can be no non-conformance, or you can say contravention to performance. Non-conformance means that engineer, I am saying here, engineer is either careless or ignorant, or incompetent one, and therefore is a redundant personnel. Do you know redundant? What is redundant? No, it's not very difficult, do not worry. It's very, very simple word, but little difficult to understand, because if you are not professional, it means, actually its direct meaning is you have something that is more than required. So that portion which is more than required is called redundant. And how many such you have, this is a degree of redundancy which is not required. If you have 2 legs, these are requirements. If you may have 3 legs, that may not be requirement. One is redundant. It applies to every activity in life, because whatever nature has done, it has kept into its consideration all equilibrium positions, where and what one requires, and that requirement changes your power of soul. How much strength do you have? Every activity requires some strength to work. How much do you have that? And that also can be related to safety and health. Safety and health, I am considering these now very seriously because of COVID-19. COVID-19, who has stirred whole world. COVID-19 has stirred whole world very fast, efficiently, and it is teaching us, still teaching us, be efficient, be efficient, keep secrets, work, and enjoy life. Enjoy life means your mind life, I'm not saying other life. If your mind is strong, sound is strong, it can think. It can, you know, it can do a lot. As we say, we must change to meet requirement. We must change to meet requirements to achieve intended quality standards for universal recognition of products or goods. Quality requirement, quality requirement checks being a must, being a must. Quality requirements checks being a must, missing which we have to blame ourselves for quality failure. Quality failure. It's easy to speak, it's easy to write, but it's not easy to digest. Why should be quality failure? Why should be there quality failure everywhere? In quality consideration, so many parameters are involved. We deal with them. This means your parameters are not clearly well defined. You could not understand them. That's why you are not able to take bath. My dear, quality requirement is directly linked to yourself, and you are directly linked to your health system. And maybe you have some other water relations like rivers, like others. That's different. It's not nothing to yourself. Means why you're thinking this, what's your obligation? That is very different. When I sometimes feel sad and happy as well, both, when I find people must know quality, must know safety. But I feel sometimes upset that professionals may not be interested. They may be interested to climb down from heights, but they may not be happy with application of water and soda. It's like that. You have to drink something, you have to drink, but even you eat or drink, you cannot run away from analysis. When you take some food, some vegetable, what vegetable it is, I'm not trying to find something. This, what are the contents of this? You want to know them as well. And market is open at that time. So you can achieve quality by working hard. Analysis is a part of every problem. Analysis once is conducted and your work is understood, I think that's best way. Information must be provided to competent, but those competent should not depend on our advices. Analysis for everything is very important part in life. If you are a good analyst, you are a brilliant person because you have to think on every act. Once you become an analyst, it becomes like, it's the habit that you have to think on everything, to see problem and analyze that problem, and to know where we had good report of eyes, good actions in part of eyes or not. I'm not going to talk again and again all this because we have to go long way. Reliability, I have explained many times, because without reliability, you can't sell anything, even your services. You want to be liable means you are to be liable. So reliability is safety from all involved factors, serviceability of intended purpose, durability of its working life, all other involved applicable knowledge areas, factors, resources must be understood and achieved. So reliability can teach us everything. I'm not going to that one now because every time I can't speak about whole paper. I'm going back to quality requirements. Why I'm talking, we have talked on quality requirements in past. There are some many statements we have considered. Each of we can this list and few are here, not all. It is setting out an excavation, hand excavation, formation of blinding concrete protection, foundation, footings, step columns, backfills, grade slab, RCC columns, walls, lift walls, and you can say longitudinal staircase item, whatever it is, and suspended slab, pedestal footings for structural steel framework item, footing blocks, and then you can say other foundations, fair face works, architectural finish, and specific hoodie blocks, sloping portion of slab, general sloping portion, then compressor foundations, tabletop foundations, all these items, below ground pool, like that, firing range, light poles, and many more. You can say this is just an indicative list. Well, only for reference, maybe more and more and more like that. You can see all. So our now attempt was to go on a concreting one, and I can directly say how to go on that. How can we go on that concreting one? We can say here. Okay, I can go here itself. Let me say 80 something, and it is there now. It's come. Let me see what it was. If we go back to this, what we see. Let us take this small project that we talked of. I then explain what it is. This is water transmission scheme, water reservoir schematic, execution method, statement, sample. Actually, it's not exactly here. I'm giving you a whole scheme. I'm just trying to give some information based on this, and that's very important part of this. You can say this is about statement is also very important. If I don't show you, it's not able to understand what I'm talking about, management cover file, where it is. Yes, it's something here. You can say sketches, water, maybe 29 it is, or some, I don't know which one is that. 29 and 30, these are all right. That's what I opened. I also opened this. This is, let's say, these are your sketches. I'm just trying to see part of the sketches for purpose of indication, not for something else, Here, now going back to explanation, this is, a big water tank, or you can say water reservoir. You can see these sketches are there. Now, when we write some statement, whatever method statement I call it, method statement, some people call it procedure also. When we call it method statement, it is something extensive. That document which you have proved, it gives you in clear terms, it gives you value. You know what you are going to do. That's very important part. Whatever you are going to do, if you know that, it's really wonderful that you are experienced person, you can tell others without any ill position, and just taking it too easy. You don't bother about that kid, and the kid loses his life. That can happen. That's why we prepare a kind of indexed statement which says something, which directs you to do something, which allows everything to be done. When we write a statement, we have to define this something. Scope of that statement, you can say scope. It's very easy to define. What we are going to do, we have to define, and that's it. It's nothing very, you can say, extraordinary. You know it, what you have to define, you're just writing on that. No. That is scope in definition. That is scope, and we have to define purpose. What purpose it would serve. That is also important, because sometimes purpose is more important to understand what you are going to do. If purpose is available, doesn't mean that you can understand by that. Yes, you can learn here theoretically and then sit down on a professional seat. You may be a lecturer, a professional, or someone else. You have to disseminate. You have to closely talk to yourself first, and then to your statements. Both are very, very important. If you can talk to yourself, I think it's the best way of interaction with yourself. Because sometimes you cannot chat with people because of so many restrictions. Then you redefine how to enter in that redefinition. Well, purpose here is to define something, and that is what we are going to do. That is purpose of this, and whatever statement you want to write in. So it says, define construction procedures. Define construction procedures that could be adopted for prosecution of typical water reservoir. This is requirement here. Purpose here is construction procedures you have to define. It doesn't require here design of same project, and post also it cannot define until I stay with you. So just statement definition, how I shall construct. There can be defined design procedure as well. How shall we design? That can also be a process. Or post that post that representation of volume. Define construction procedure. Simple. You can say define design procedure, or you may go to some other vistas and define that vista. In this case, we have indicatively 4 number similar designs: water tanks, water reservoir, you may call it, whatever you call it. 4 number typical water reservoirs are proposed to be built at one location. 4. This statement means only for sharing general description of indicative procedures for various occupational disease. We have to share general description of procedures here in this, and other detailed working typical statements shall be produced during real execution of works. For each activity, as stated, standard procedures applicable to project. Here, sketch we are referring to making basis for this work is only for indicative purpose, without claiming or without mandating whatever required authenticity. Quantities mentioned are also indicative, just to explain method. And period for tanks construction shall, you can say, well, whatever defined, you can define yourself how many months you want to finish this. So I just use 14 months, or could be 15 months or 12 months, depending upon cost and material to be consumed. Now, 2 tanks planned to be constructed simultaneously, and then another 2 simultaneously. Safety requirements and quality procedures requirements to be defined separately on individual activity operational basis. Means it just describes you are going to construct these tanks, reservoirs, these tanks for some purpose, and how shall we do this? Both ways, quality and quantity. Of course, construction will follow. When we say quality in construction, of course, construction is there. You can't every time we describe means also it doesn't look good. Matter is important, not naming or something. If you understand output, if you understand quantity, you must also understand quantity and quality. So my dear, now we go to certain other documents. For example, we have to deal with technical work, we have to deal with non-technical work, we have to deal with every required document relevant to this work. Drawings list must be there. You must have numbers of drawings, project wise, building wise. It is always good. If you see old BOQs where you can say faulty statements are made and recorded. We need drawings for that. Let's first see drawing here. What I'm talking of is also important here. This is structural drawing. One is also structural drawing. Only difference is contents. in both drawings. This is a drawing of single tank, and this also very, it's not exactly detailed drawing, but I did not other drawings just for dimension purpose, for just telling you what we are going to talk of. This sketch is included, another sketch is, so two sketches are included because we don't have more information on this. Whatever I could remember, I could redraw, I could replot. Its dimension, there are certain elements in this tank. First of all, let's answer that. This is first of all, size is 130 into 110 maybe. This is a big size of tank, water tank. It is enough if we use properly, and fortunately this is not separate from building. Basement, then water tank. These are two properties at the time. Tank should be dimension 1, detailed 1, and that is there. Detailed 1 I can't say, but dimension is there. There's the exactly tank area. You can say this is tank area here. All this is kind of, you can say, baffling tank. This is another area of some office, and this also office. Also there are sumps in one side, other side as well, and you can say this is raft, and on this raft you shall find many more details. It's big reservoir, not small one. Depth wise also it's big. It is 10 meters around, more than that maybe. And construction says that we have to excavate, install or plant raft, and after that's done, now, for example, this is a 130 meters by 100 meters tank. You imagine what you are going to talk. 5 meters grid spacing. So you can see how many columns are there, which we'll discuss. This sketch is for just informing purpose. Informing purpose of a composition of this is water tank, and then baffle area. And on one side is one word, there is unlimited access area. There are two control points on this, which are chambers, you can say, or you can say other buildings. The sumps are there. There are platforms on both. This is general construction, RCC work column, RCC work building, foundations RCC, ground is not RCC, and all floors in RCC, floors and slabs are RCC. This is that one. Its other part sketches. That's this one, same but with same but different kind of detailing. That's important part. So what we have to say in this case? Documents you have seen, one document only, not all. No problem, it's only interaction. It's not, we are not going to do this now. It's only information what can be there. In this case, we have to say that drawings number is this, reference one, better. Even if you don't like, you have to do it for your own. So there is always a list of drawing for every project. Many lists are there. Of this project must be somewhere. You must have that. Then there are certain descriptive and proprietary forms which may be considered from the Weber factory. So we have different drawings in this case, and we have vendors drawings also. We have general arrangement walls and columns, top systems that may be proprietary from manufacturer's proprietary. Then we have the other form drawings. Then we have specifications, different types of specifications, and particularly concrete general specifications, others testing. We have different specifications and different attachments. That's where generally all. Now, what we say, when you do some project, you have to design that project. It's very normal. What sort of this project is going to serve, that designer has to understand, and that must be written somewhere in support of that document. This is available, because it's not necessary whatever is designed from some relative you accept that. You don't accept that. You have to accept that designs, what designs we should have, what do you want, what forces are applying there, how seismic action will grow. All these points we must have. Now, prior to construction of reservoir, all proposed form systems shall be designed to meet final requirements. But before that, we should find structural requirements, though it's not included in this, but for brief information. We have to design all walls or columns and slab. It has been understood that the site lies somewhere near Texas. It is always easy to criticize, but it's always difficult to do something in favor of that. We have to see what design of tank, what weight of water and what weight of concrete is there on raft. So how shall raft perform in presence of these so many columns and walls? there is very little chance we accept assumptions, something we can't. If we have done all designs, we have to understand how this shall be done, how shall it, consider its own value time. Remember, time can never be friend to anybody. Prior to construction of reservoir, all proposed forms, systems shall be designated, must be designed to meet requirements, specified requirements, and calculations in shop drawings shall be submitted for approval. Shop drawing here is also improved, or you may say working drawings, whatever drawings it is. Guys covers everything with this. Design of walls, bases, or raft, or some pits with that. Then design on roadways. Complete design is very important before going to think how to construct that, because this is not project for many years. This is a simple project, and I think design is also very simple. We have to install these designs. This designer's activity, which is a responsibility of accountability, because whatever we consumed, that was ordinary. I think you understand what I mean. All activities shall be carried out according to requirements. And we have to be very, very clear about what we can say. It's a plan, it's a scheme, and we proposed our layout, our site layout in our dictation terms. First of all, everybody's women's are there could be any kind of services passing below that area. Every time I repeat that, I remind that you have to make sure, you have to see that whatever live services are very important for some project or some operation unit. Maybe it's different in the depth. It can be a part design, which is, kalpana, hypothetical answers. Now these services which you find there are, through whatever procedures you found, using your own camera and care about off sleeves, whatever is there that supports you and your plan. You may get little delayed drawing, which is not also acceptable, because you are not doing blunders. So existing service is very important part everywhere. If you have to protect that, if it's not dead. So you can say records shall be checked for possibilities of certain underlying railings. Now it's a time you have to think of procedures. Records shall be checked for possibilities of certain underlying running services. As a matter of routine, such gravity, national courses, like that. And existing services, if so located, shall be informed to relevant authorities as well as company for necessary actions. Trial pits shall also be excavated to scan further whether or not certain services exist. Existing services, if so located, shall be informed to relevant authorities, or case may be either concretive or create something. In case, you can say, trial pits shall be excavated to scan whether or not certain services do exist. In case certain live services do exist, all actions shall be taken to either protect such services or divert them permanently according to authorities' direction, as case may be. Authority would do self if construction or EPC contract does not include such provisions. I am just trying to tell existing services. In our country, people are not very serious about such requirements. I can't answer that question. No, this was something construction, etc., which are very common. Now, supervision and control is also very important activity. We have to see supervision and control of whatever activity we do. We should have construction leader, site engineer, construction leaders, foremen, etc., etc. They also control activities on site according to relevant job description, indicatively included on project file, project plan. Before that, we have to understand surveys applicable. What are surveys saying? What surveys speak? That point we must understand as well. Sorry. Sorry. It says controls. Now, what are controls here? Survey controls. It says according to drawings approved for construction drawing. I say AFC means approved for construction, or it may be, you can say, IFC also, that is same, issued for construction. So one is same thing. Now, survey team shall locate setting outlines, it says. It's job of survey team to locate setting outlines. Setting outs means we have to set in defined coordinates or relative coordinates that area. We have to cover it within certain coordinates, which is surrounding circulation area for construction purpose. So according to IFC drawings or AFC drawings, surveying team shall locate setting outlines, coordinates, as well as surroundings circulation area for construction purpose. Now dimension of this tank is around 130 by 100 meters, which requires that adequate arrangement shall be made to carry out mass excavation works. Of course, this is big, and we have to do it for 4 such tanks. All topographical levels shall be recorded for reference to be used in future as well. Now, because of so many reasons, we have to record everything. So topographical levels, or you can say levels at various grades, we have to record, that is existing levels of ground before excavation is done. This is for record purpose. Now we have to see site may be labeled, may not be labeled. Site shall be graded to reach required ground level. You use graded machine and you can reach to desired levels. Site shall be graded to reach required ground levels. All survey documents shall be prepared for purpose of verification. We have to do that. Now, around area guide barricades shall be erected for purpose of locating grids and reference site levels. Around areas, you can say guide barricades shall be erected for purpose of locating grids, reference site levels. Benchmarks shall be established on all corners for purpose of flying and re-establishing all working locations. Establishing base corners points as well as base level benchmark shall be conducted by licensed land surveyor whose documents submitted to engineer for approval and record reference, or third party may be involved for establishing site references from GPS for both horizontal and vertical. So just few points better if you can read them. Just for 2-3 minutes, I'll be back. So you have gone through this procedure, as I explained to you just now. Now we are considering safety, health and environment in this talk little one. What are actually safety minimum requirement? There are long list, but we'll just speak little brief on this. And it's because we just want to have comprehensive discussion on this issue. Very comprehensive discussion here. This is very important one. Comprehensive discussion is always very important. Says safety, health and environment. Such is always that. We can write safety also, but I just for purpose of clarification and so that everybody knows what you're talking about. So I use safety, health and environment, and of course we can write ergonomics too if required. Ergonomics is very important part of safety. Ergonomics is is organization or organized system, how to best carry out a work with optimum use of energy levels. All safety measures required, what you think is, they shall be applied, you can say, shall be resorted to for safety plans according to excavation requirements. This is major job. You can say, you can think yourself, means 130 or 150 by 110 or 20 more. You have to cover all area for, you can say, excavation. Machine goes down and excavates, trucks go down and machines and truck go down. These machines excavate and directly load excavated material onto trucks for transportation to certain area, which can be used as stockpiles of excavated earth. All safety measures shall be resorted to for safety plans according to excavation requirements. Now, what can safety plan tell you? You think yourself. Means purpose is thinking. Safety plan, what it says, because you have a plan, the truck and machines work together. You have already barricaded area for some purpose. Everybody should not stand there except work people. People should not unnecessarily waste time there. So there is some barricade, you can say. Barricade means even people should not be. Okay, people have a right to see, but we don't want safety issues. Therefore, we try to keep some fence around, or some other reason, you can say some other tags also, standard tags also, for purpose of writing codes, writing grids, etc. So it means we should have direct entry. These machines should start working at ground. Excavator or whatever you take down, we cannot immediately reach 10 meters. It shall take some time, or say 1 meter layer if you excavate. It may take 10 rotations of your machines and trucks. So you can yourself say it's a work that may be done in many days, or whatever time schedule you have for such excavation. For whole of that time, you have to excavate, you have to work on safety issues. Safety at deep and safety at ground, safety at middle depths. Wherever you reach during excavation, that level of safety is required, and accordingly, you must have a ramp that goes down to that level, and how much that ramp covers for access on both ends. So this is important point, that we are doing a deal with something that is massive. That's not simply superficial. It is massive. And what kind of safety supervision or plan says, safety plan demands, that you have to take care of here. Otherwise, nothing is done. So whatever you think is required, that must be covered in safety plan, or you can say particular safety sketch you can prepare for certain specific item. Not necessary that this project be given in details in your safety, is not necessary. So you can devise yourself, discuss with safety guys, because this is safety and temporarily, it's not going to be permanent. So only requirement is that whoever is working on site, all those must satisfy themselves that this work is okay. So safety officers on behalf of contractors and safety officer on behalf of supervision or engineer, both should be happy, both should be satisfied to see from day to day basis, from hour to hour basis, that activities change their scope immediately, go down and down. Likewise, you depend on how this works. And if there's another problem of dewatering also linked with that, then you have to think that way also. You have different coverage of area, because depending on soil type, different levels of soils and different state soils. So what I say is that you must have a working plan for safety, health and environment, because we don't want to spoil our workers' health. That's not our objective. Our objective is to do work with dignity, with safety, with thinking. So there can be many levels of plans for this activity, which looks very simple, but it's not simple. If rock is there, it's too time consuming though. I don't think rock is a major issue in that country, Libya, or where else you do it. We have to take care of all this. So you can say we have to cover that area, we have to use something, temporary arrangements, lights, safety cones, safety strips, all, and direction of flow by signboards. So you can say all safety measures shall be resorted to per safety plans according to excavation requirements, and warning tapes, safety cones shall be provided around defined working areas. All safety and direction flows signboards meant for excavation, safety shall be provided and remain in position till excavation continues, and all dangers or hazards from such trenches have been eliminated. Warning lights, generally at night. Warning lights at night, reflectors, can say warning light reflectors shall be provided around for public safety. Aluminum ladders shall be provided duly clamped for access into working areas located not more than 8 meters spacing on all trench sites, and working and pouring stable platforms for people's personnel to work safely shall also be constructed. And it's also that for convenient access of heavy equipment into formation areas, ramps shall be provided from existing or grade form level from to opposite ends, if so required for site conditions, as well as from soil report. Dewatering arrangements shall be carried out continuously until construction reaches roof, slab level or retaining walls and baffle walls, and you can say have been constructed. Retaining walls and baffle walls have been constructed. Toolbox stocks shall be imparted daily for all important operations involved. Toolbox stocks. A safety officer shall inspect works every day during all concreting activities, form erection activities, and all traffic movement activities. You can say, when I say toolbox stock, it's very important activity. Toolbox stocks shall be imparted daily for all important operations involved. This is very important talk. Toolbox. Those people who use tools must know everything about that tools. I'm not saying they do not know, they know, but everybody does not know. We have to work. We can't teach all time. It's contracting. Sometime you can be taught, but you have to practice. And if you practice tools, you can, of course, speed up production. So toolbox stock is mandatory because of hands you use, your hands, you operate these tools. You use your eyes, you use your nose, everything you use, every part of your body we use for some work. Purpose of toolbox is to let person who is going to use those tools, that person must know safe working of that tool. Training purpose of this safe working must be known to everyone, and not only must be known, maybe knows but forgets. It's to remind everybody how to have to work. That's the important point. Safety officer's job is to visit your site and observe whatever is to be left, whatever is left. Then we note all those points and give to these safety officials, ladies. A safety officer shall inspect work every day during all concreting activities, from erection activities and all traffic movement activities. So this safety provision says that in such deep reservoir excavation, size and depth, you both can see safety from every point of view is very much important and significant. If you know something about safety of excavation, that's fine, that's okay, but a revision and retalk is important always, because there can be whatever difference on your project and project which you are referring to. Both are not same, may not be same, but if you want to enjoy, that's different. I'm not going to stop you from enjoying, because enjoying is your right. And he says no. So when you think of safety, you have to think of what you're going to do, how you're going to protect people from that, how you're going to help people remain safe, have machines work efficiently, and you can do job in best possible manner, best possible time with quality performance. Where safety is involved, quality is involved, technical work is involved, people are involved, machines are involved, work is involved, work platform is involved, and post concrete articles are involved. Because it's that kind of safety, and it's very important to have a plan of this plan like that, which helps everybody. Now what actually we are going to use on this project? It's only, you can say, concrete is major material currently when we are doing structure. So what is that in concrete supply and ready-mix concrete supply and steel supply post-COVID restriction? Concrete, we need ready-mix concrete, that's no choice. A big quantity here, and site mixing is never allowed on projects. It's not allowed on projects, so we have to buy ready-mix concrete, or we may have our own plant. It depends. Buy or do you consistent concrete must be there. Similarly, reinforced bars or rebars we call them. Reinforcing bars shall be procured from and on this project approved source only, because every project requires certain vendor for all items or some items. So reinforcing bars shall be procured from and on this project approved source only. Reinforcing bars shall be fabricated in steel yard located elsewhere on site. It can be also on site depending on requirements, depending on specifications. If you on site steel yard installation is acceptable, it shall be included on site establishment plan and duly approved. All fabricated bars shall be tagged, means you have to put references on according to BBS. You can say the bar bedding schedule references. It should be easy all time, not to be confused with whatever tag says. Your tag must be same as indicated. All fabrication on a cut and bent steel bars be stored duly tagged and covered with proper plastic, so as not to permit any moisture ingress on reinforcing bars surfaces. No rebar shall be placed on soil. No rebar shall be placed on soil, but adequate off-ground safe platform shall be constructed for storage. It's very big issue. Why I'm saying, in fact, people don't realize it in life, but we realize it as engineers in freelancing or in non-cooperative sector or corporate world. We have to be very careful. If there are requirements, there are specifications. If you are, if you store your bars on soil, it's not accepted. If there's water logging around and your bars are there, it's not accepted. And problem comes in when these are rusted. Rust is natural, we know, but can't be protected. If somebody thinks that person cannot be called engineer, means you should have good competency to start with. You have to start with good competency. All activities of excavation and structural works. We have to be little different in our approach because of many reasons, many items as such. These are required. And now we'll go to form fabrication. Water also. Okay. Sorry. Fabrication you are talking of. We have to fabricate two items in such job. One is steel fabrication and other is form fabrication. Both are very important items. Form fabrication is preparatory item and steel fabrication is permanent item. Permanent, temporary or preparatory, these are very much activities that we can classify. When we say preparatory means we have to prepare for permanent activities, and also permanent activities which is done forever to be included within item. But preparatory activity is withdrawn and temporary activities are also withdrawn. Fabrication of form, because it's not permanent but it creates permanent, so it must be more stronger, more qualitative than permanent, because permanent shall be created by this. If preparatory work is very good, you can say qualitative, safe, it can be said that permanent shall be better than that. Permanent shall depend upon how preparatory was done. How preparatory work was done. And when we say steel, cutting, bending and placing, it's also very much important for permanent work, because steel is ultimately which is very specific in concrete, and we call it composite material with concrete, steel plus concrete. And steel can't be seen once concrete is laid, concrete can be seen. We have to do steel reinforcing bar work very much to accuracy. There is no compromise. Dimensions and bar bending schedules are prepared for that purpose. Each and every bar is detailed for purpose of cutting, bending and placing, or we call it fabrication, assembly. There is no way you can avoid this. Every fabricator bar is very important, we should know. There are shapes according to codes like VS code 8866 or old code 4466 or other codes whichever you take. Or if you don't want to use codes, then you can use your shapes and their cutting lengths. There are formulas, various formulas given in 8866 also about how to work out cutting and bending of bars according to shapes given in code. Various shapes, various codes are there. We can formalize them, we can form their automatic calculation by placing them on Excel or worksheet, and we can formalize in a way that we just enter diameter or its lengths given per code or per specimen, A, B, C, D, E, like. Put those entries into worksheet and you will get answer of cutting length. That's one point. Cutting length is not exactly what is, it's a part of a requirement, but it's not totality. For totality, we have to know quantity of steel required for that bar and also number of those bars in that member. So we can say number of those bars in members, and you can say if you multiply by cutting length, you can get total cutting length in that member, and then how many members are there can be multiplied by that, and we can get number of bars, number of how many meters, and you have formula for weight per meter in kilograms. You can multiply that, and you know how many tons or kilograms of those bars are required. And you may add 5% to that cut length. I mean to say that quantity you are getting in, not to cut length, but the quantity you are getting in for procurement, you have every right to use 5% variation. So you can say that is budget quantity of steel bar. Budget quantity of steel bar. So this is what about, you can say, very important item, as I said, reinforcing bars, which we sometimes don't understand. We just without applying mind, we just keep on going. It takes time just to formalize that item, but once you complete your register or that table of bar bending schedule, cut, bend and placement assembly, only requirement is that dia wise, because it's not number wise alone, diameter wise, because every dia gives different cut length. So dia wise you have to just copy that row for new dimension, new bar, and you put in lengths, or you can say shape you have, just put in numbers, members, and A, B, C, D, E, whatever it is, you'll get answers of total requirement of steel according to that shape. That's what is required, and this can be given to our steel fixers. This cut length and shape of bar, cutting length. Those people shall gladly cut that length and bend that bar to required shape. That's basics behind that. Then form fabrication is very, very important. As I said, it is preparatory work. Again I say about reinforcement, don't use rusted bars. Very, very significant talk. No allowance to oxidized bar, rusted bars. You have to remove rust if you can, and if you can't remove rust, there's no way out. You can remove rust by brushing, hard brush. Of course, you have to engage some people for that. And we say generally sand blast it or grid blast it, but practically I have not seen anywhere. People don't bother about anything. That's also another problem. Maybe they know it, I can't say. But I have not seen forget blasting. Even hard brush is not used to remove rust. And I have seen these rusted bars being installed, put in assembly and concreted. That is where we say quality completely wraps, that you are allowing rusted bars in steel. This is not acceptable at any cost. It's first of all, we have to take loss preventive measures rather than allowing rusting. That only requires storage, proper storage, which is duty of every contractor, every foreman, steel bars. That material must be protected, and if you cannot protect material, even I would not call you contractor, I would not call you engineer. If you can't take care of steel, which is a very expensive item, and question is not of expense, question is of its performance. Concrete is not done for one day or 1 year, it's done for many decades. It's done for many decades. Once you do it, it should perform. But your bonding, debonding, your, you can say, rust is enemy of performance. It doesn't allow good performance of steel in concrete. You have to take care of this. I know it's difficult for you because you are not arrogant, you may not be aggressive, but after all, whatever you do, you cannot close your eyes if something wrong goes on. If you close your eyes, then you need not be called an engineer. You are just living for salary, or you do your job, or take job from same person whom I'm talking of, and spoil your life. Well, what you say about fabrication? Fabrication of formwork is very important item. There is no way you can come out of that, and it must be done accurately and professionally. And that's what I say. We can say formwork fabrication, or in ordinary language also we can call making, breaking. Making of formwork. Making is same thing as professional word use fabrication. You have given dimension of columns, you can say raft size, you have here some columns, you must have beams, or if nothing, walls, and of course base slab. Here we have, and there will be many connections, and we consider so we say fabrication of bars. It says only suitable machines and power tools shall be used to cut and bend or fabricate formwork materials. Fabrication of plywood forms shall be carried out on site based on specialist formwork vendor details. There are two ways. Either you fabricate yourself, or if you don't have system with you, you can hire from market, pay money for hiring charges, because otherwise you can't work. Either you wait till the person goes, there's nothing you can do, and you can move on without working. But remember, so we say that supporting detailed system shall be provided by formwork vendor based on detailed design approved by engineer. If you say, for example, taking forms of walls from vendor, because walls are high here, probably 10 meters, you need that formwork. with complete safety. This can be, or you can install airtime before blasting. Alright, so on site you can say details can be given by vendor to us also, and we can fabricate that dimension or plywood panel. On site site formwork shall be erected according to complying with vendors detailing. Then you can say formwork shall be erected according to complying with vendors drawings. Let's now go further. If we have to fabricate ourselves, it's not a big deal. We can do it provided we understand the procedures. Now, procedure for one reservoir construction. What we have to construct? We have to excavate. We have to apply irrigants. What we are going to do, though it's given just concrete procedure, but in this case, excavation I already explained to you. Dewatering too is being done. Let us say it's being done because of nature of soil, but it's not necessary that it shall be done, depending on. We have many stages of construction here. It's for general identification. This is So we say we have to construct tank, which includes quantity excavation, voluminous excavation, and we shall also require surrounding areas, COVID-19 testing and people's testing and all that, as well as we shall need proper ground for formation, and also if dewatering is ongoing, it should be kept ongoing round clock until you're out of foundations. Okay, so we have to construct this tank excavation, then we have to see dewatering, and also we have to see for compact level of grounds or consolidation level, whatever it is. Then we have to prepare base and do blinding, and then we have to, as water goes down, maybe survey impact. Okay, so we have to think this way, excavation process. We have to think of formation making. We have to think of blinding concrete, water flow. uh, These are main items we have to construct. Walls is time consuming, base level is also time consuming. Now we have vast quantity of material here. The face lengths very well. 99% closer, and you can say nearly all people availed. After that, you know, you have to, once you come out of foundation water table, you can allow that frozen water in grounds. Let's think further on this issue because thinking is important everywhere. What we say, also slabs there, suspended slab, big activity. So we have blinding, we have concrete slab, and of course treatment between two, isolation treatment and waterproofing, and also slab, walls, and walls around every person. When thousands of cubic meters concrete is involved, it's very important works to be done according to requirement, accurate and everything fine. That's beauty of concrete, that it can embed in its others also. Now we say all these items are here: compacted granular base and blinding, polythene membrane, always place. So my dear, what I say, something different. We have granular base, we have blinding, we have base slab, we have walls, we have suspended slab. Quantities are there, and it's not interesting now to tell quantities about. Now, what are considerations actually? What are activities that we can say? What activities are there that you consider? You can say peripheral retaining walls, base slab, baffle walls, then joints per requirements, which are expansion joints and construction joints. The number of columns vary in how many columns and how much you can cast. Then OSC baffle walls, construction joints, expansion joint, RCC columns with heads below flat slab, suspended slab throughout, components pertinent to adjacent let out to chambers, overflow chambers, then intermediate suspended slabs, walls per designs. Then you can say some pits, elements per designs, box outs, wherever required on indicated and stair structure, lat, roof of stands above ground. These are general activities, particularly linked to structural construction. Then there will be some pit element per designs, box out where required, and stair structures and roof of stands, and of course above ground concrete production and around. So it's already there. Now, post activities, general activities post structural construction. Two types of activities: pre-construction, pre-structural construction, and post-construction of structures. We have then another one, and that is, that general activities post structural construction, and those are filling PVC pipes, inserts within walls with approved proprietary material, fixing of manholes, covers, and frames on reservoir roof, roofing and waterproofing around per standard approved system, roof handrail around all over upstands for details, roof handrails and other details. So it is that detailed activities prior to structural construction, that is After clearance obtained from engineer, excavation shall be started. Using heavy equipment, removing excavated material from site location, loading excavated the material directly into truck and transporting that material to tip-off stockpile areas, or in case reloading is required. So we can say after cleaning from engineer, excavation shall be started using heavy equipment, removing excavated material from site location, loading excavated material directly into truck and transporting to tip off stockpiles, or in case material could not be used for backfilling purpose, probably transported to a designated dumping area. Material that is stockpiled can be stored for backfilling purpose using screen shovel bucket, and later, if laboratory recommends, based on full range of then you can say you can say this right here. We can go on further and say material that is stockpiled can be used for that purpose also if it's required, so we can do screening of that. If it's good material, depends on site, because whole material should not be backfilled, but you may require something or something else. It is already graded, subgraded, etc. And then we can say metal that's stockpiled can be sorted out for backfilling purpose. We have to know FDD of that backfill. We can say design mix of additional material we can use, namely graded soil or some other material in given proportion could be mixed to obtain well-defined combined grading to get demanded or suitable FDD to avoid imported fill material. During excavation, dust control measures, which is a very important one. Dust control measures, very important, shall be carried out by conventional means for purpose to avoid environmental hazards. Excavation shall be carried out approximately to formation subgrade level only, all according complying with profiles shown on approved drawings. Survey shall continuously control levels so as to avoid over excavation. Excavated formation shall be dressed manually as well as using light rollers, and after formation profile is established, heavy rolling shall be carried out over an entire area to reach field compaction to 95 to 80%. We also know that excavated formation shall be dressed manually as well as using light rollers, and after formation profile is established, heavy rolling shall be carried out over entire area to reach field compaction up to 98% of dry density. Field compaction test shall be conducted complying with standards and specification requirements. Quality engineer shall inspect profile for next generations. Then we can say that field compaction test shall be conducted complying with the standards and specification requirements. Quality engineers shall inspect profile for clearance and approval. 300 mm thick compacted granular slabs of slab. 300 mm thick compacted granular slab subbase. Now first layer of the we have to simply saying we have to complete the subgrade in two layers. First is 200 mm compacted to 100 mm. Second is also 200 mm compacted to 150 mm. So two layers, 200 to 150 mm compacted layers. So says first layer of subbase shall be laid loose in 200 mm thickness, well watered per requirement, and then rolled over for an objective to achieve 1.8 meters roll space. Then you can say profile of subbase shall be given according to details which indicates 1 in 50 or 500 1 in 500 fall, and we will prepare that the grader after rolling loose laid material shall be compacted on 150 mm thick as said before. Site field density test shall be conducted from both layers in conformance to a specification requirement for granular subbase spread over entire area. Then thereafter second subbase thereafter second subbase course construction shall be carried out, for which scarifying of previous laid compacted layers shall be carried out for interlock bonding between one and first and second compacted layer. Second 200 mm base loose layer shall be laid over scarified surface and well watered and compacted to 150 mm. Profile of subbase shall be given according to details, that is 1 in 500. Site field density test shall be conducted from this layer insofar as is there. We can say FDD testing shall be conducted from this layer in conformance to specification requirement for granular base subbase spread over entire area. 75 mm concrete blinding and mass concrete 2 requirement. Blinding, very important item. Purpose of which is to remove unevenness of formation level. We want good formation level. First, blinding is actually blinding is founding of foundation. Actually, that is only, you can say, a piece of concrete layer in between soil and in foundation. That's blinding. Then we can say here that blinding is very important item. We all know 75 mm blinding. Blinding should be done in stages parallel to width of reservoirs. Whole blinding shall be divided into 6 or 8 bays. So we can say blinding shall be done in stages parallel to width. So the whole blinding shall be divided into 6 to 8 bays, each 20 to 25 meter wide and 100 meter long. One stage blinding quantifies to about 200 not cubic meter, which is feasible for a convenient casting. If so required for ease of convenience, formation of bed compartments could be established within each bay for alternatively placing blinding concrete. Low profile steel formwork for controlling sites shall be prepared and fixed. A concrete laying beam team shall be grouped for this purpose, such that concrete received from transit mixer is immediately pumped into location and spread using teeth, shovel, garden rakes to a step profile level. Low profile strip formwork for controlling sites shall be prepared and fixed. A concrete laying team shall be grouped for this purpose, such that concrete received from transit mixer is immediately pumped into location and spread using peat shovel garden racks to strip profile level. Profile leveling shall be carried out using wooden float edge by masons. Whole area shall be laid profile to 2 levels and given wooden float after concrete is ready to receive wooden float. Polythene sheet shall be spread over entire area immediately. Routine curing procedure shall be complied with per agreed procedures. Curing shall be carried out for 3 days only. Before laying new concrete, at set edge of previous blinding, at edge cement slurry shall be applied to edge, so that new and old concrete is probably bonded. So you can see curing shall be carried out for 3 days only before laying new concrete at set edge of previous blinding. At edge, cement slurry shall be applied at edge to edge, so that new and old concrete is properly bonded. Mass concrete shall be carried out as shown on approved contract drawings. Whatever depth being more than 75 mm shall be blinded only, for no backfill is permitted on approved subgrade. Two layers of bituminous membrane at end of curing. Surface shall be cleaned of all dust and dirt, particles, all debris, water, etc. and inspected. Blind surface should be smooth enough to receive bituminous membrane application. All cracks appearing or certain damages, portions of damaged portion, however, located shall be repaired either by grouting or by breaking and relaying concrete according to manufacturer's instruction. Bituminous membrane shall be applied over blended surface in both sheet applications. Now 50 mm thick skid for membrane protection. Membrane shall be protected by an application of 50 mm thick skid layer as soon as possible and cured accordingly by repetition of foregoing activities in sequence but in alternate ways. I think I'll continue it later on.